Alright, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. Spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Alright. Got several articles as well as I got this. Tomorrow, in Hezbollah, tomorrow all hell could break loose. Tomorrow's a day that we gotta watch. All hell could break loose. You got Hezbollah, the Hezbollah Secretary General and leader Hassan Nasrallah, who's set to speak about the war in Israel and the invasion of the Gaza Strip. You got let me see this. The speech tomorrow. And it says right there, this is the first time Hezbollah releases teasers for a speech, making this very concerning. This is that dude's thoughts, but it could go down that way. It could go down like things do not look good. That's what we think about, which it looks very good to us because we want this queendom to go down. And this is how it could go down. But yeah, Iran and Hezbollah warned the U.S. that if the war doesn't pause tomorrow, Hezbollah is joining. So we gonna see. And they're saying the next 24 hours will be very important and decisive. From our propaganda from Iran. The Syrian army transferred special battalions from the Republican Guard to the Golan Heights on the border with Israel. And Russian news, and there's a link right there. So you got that. You see. That was unconfirmed, so maybe it did, maybe it didn't happen. I don't think it did, though, because I didn't hear nothing else about it. But shit is eating up out there in West Asia, aka the Middle East. Like the brother Rapah said. But as you can see, shit could go down. And what else is happening is this. Hamas vows to repeat October 7th attacks and bring about the annihilation of Israel while cynically saying it did not want to hurt civilians as it slaughtered 1,400 people, but there were complications on the ground. We know these devils, we know these 48ers set Hamas up. We know these 48ers set Hamas up. So we gonna see, what they gonna do. Hamas leaders issued a chilling warning that the terror group October 7th massacre will happen again and again until Israel is annihilated, vowing that the terrorists will pay any price to achieve their aim. The T words will pay any price to achieve their aims. Ghazi Hamad, Deputy Foreign Minister for Hamas, cynically told a broadcaster that terrorists did not want to harm civilians. That the Yeah, I already said it. You already know what it says. During their bloody rampage through southern Israel, which saw more than 1,400 Israelis murdered 48ers, you know what I mean, murdered in cold blood. He said the terror group had only done so due to complications on the ground, a grim throwaway reference to the Noel Festival massacre, which saw scores of innocent young people mutilated and kidnapped. His belligerent speech saw him vow to launch repeated attacks, telling a broadcaster that on October 7th, October 10th, October the 1000th, everything we do is justified. Mr. Ahmad earlier boasted that the group demonstrated that the 48ers are beatable and that the killing of 48ers inside their homes or as they fled the festival destroyed the myth of the 48ers as a military superpower. He dismissed the heartbreaking number of people killed in the 48er Hamas war, the deadliest and most destructive of the 5 wars fought by the two sides since '07, as the necessary price in blood. Yeah. In some of his latest comments, Mr. Hamad claimed that everything we do is justifiable, declaring that we are the victims as he vowed to remove the 48ers from what he claimed is Palestinian land. He declared that the terror group is ready to pay the ultimate price, saying we are a nation of martyrs and we are proud to sacrifice martyrs. Mr. Ahmad bragged that Hamas's surprise attack on the 7th is changing the Middle East. In comments made on the same day, Iran-backed Houthi rebels fired missiles and drones from Yemen, and a terrifying escalation of the war that could engulf the region. In response to the October 7th massacre, Israel launched withering airstrikes on Gaza, obliterating entire neighborhoods and killing 8,796 people. The death toll, which most of those, by the way, were women and children, and the death toll is expected to soar as 48er troops continue with their large-scale ground invasion. When asked about the thousands of people killed in Gaza since Hamas launched its rampage 3 weeks ago, Mr. Hamad told Italian newspaper Corriere della Sera, "We are paying a great price in blood, but it was necessary." He bragged that the slaughter of 1,400 48ers was a victory for Hamas. October 7th was a victory. We have destroyed the myth of the 48ers as a military superpower, Mr. Hamad said. There are countries willing to enter a security pact with the 48ers because they are convinced they will be able to face Iran or other threats. He continued, instead, Hamas has demonstrated that the 48ers is beatable. We couldn't do it for free, but we are ready to pay again. Mr. Hamad insisted that October 7th massacre was justified because talks of peace hadn't worked in the past to get a free Palestinian state. They left us with no option of violence, quote unquote. Which, Esau will do that, and then he'll blame the people, and he'll set up groups that will do that. He'll set up groups that will set up, T groups, like the brothers say, T groups. He'll set them up and fund them just to either divide and conquer people or to, and also in their case, to justify basically them going on in there and doing what they do. That's what the article don't mention. They left us with no option but violence, he said. Israel has the arrogance of someone, quote unquote, Israel has the arrogance of someone who has the Americans behind him and doesn't care about international law. Think, why listen to Hamas if we can defeat it? Well, they were wrong. Operation Out ask us changing the Middle East, quote unquote, he said. His comments came a day after Iran boasted its powerful proxies won't stay silent and hitting the fighting between the 48ers and Hamas could engulf the Middle East as Tehran-backed Houthi rebels fired missiles and drones into the 48er state from Yemen. The Houthis who seized Yemen's capital Sana'a in 2014 and controlled large swaths of the country, said they fired a series of drones towards the Red Sea city of Eilat yesterday in retaliation to Israel's war against Hamas. In addition of yet another Iran-backed group fighting against, the 48ers, you know what I mean. You know why we call them the 48ers. But in addition of yet another Iran-backed group fighting the 48ers against the 48ers marks a terrifying escalation in the war and heightens fears of fighting could in Gaza could engulf the Middle East. It means that the 48ers is facing attacks by Tehran-backed groups from every direction, from Hamas to the east, Hezbollah, Hezbollah T-words from the north, Syria's National Defense Forces to the west, and now Yemen's Houthis from the south. And adding yet more fuel to the fire. Oh, terror shall make him afraid on every side, right? That remind me of that. Terror shall make him afraid. Let me get that. Hold on. Let me find it. It's interesting how when the 48ers do say some shit, like say some shit like that, like we're gonna annihilate, basically we're gonna yeah, they sing about it, like how they gonna destroy Gaza and shit. The 48ers are not held to the same standard. They're not demonized like that. But of course, this is coming from the Daily Mail, which is they're pro Amalek heavily. But yeah, just keep that in mind. But I'm not saying I'm for the Ishmaelites that's over there too, because that's not their land either. but I'm just saying. Facts are the facts. Job 18 and 11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. You know, that's another article, which I might go into. Mr. Ahmad tried to justify, yet adding more fuel to the fire. Iran today warned the situation in the Middle East could quote unquote get out of control if a ceasefire isn't reached, and said it was natural for Tehran-backed groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis should attack the 48ers. Mr. Hamad tried to justify the massacre of 1,448ers as they slept in their beds or enjoyed their morning coffee, and said Hamas are no longer the ones who suffer. Well, they didn't they massacre people? Just the facts, man. Didn't they massacre people on leading up to the establishment of the state of Israel, the 48er state? Didn't they massacre people? So don't they murder those Ishmaelites every day? It's just facts. In the West Bank and shit, ain't they bombing neighborhoods and of Ishmaelites in Gaza and shit? You know, Esau's a hypocrite. But yeah. He said we have caused great shock and now everyone is taking action to prevent the problem from spreading beyond this 365-kilometer long strip of ours. While we are no longer the ones who suffer and worry, quote unquote. Yeah. Mr. Hamad insisted Hamas was justified. Again, just speaking facts. I'm not taking their side. I'm just speaking facts. Mr. Hamad insisted Hamas was justified in attacking the 48ers because they were the victims of the occupation, quote unquote. According to international law, we are fully entitled to fight the invaders. He said refusing to acknowledge that international law does not allow an attack within the borders on innocent civilians. When asked whether the violence will ever end, Mr. Hamad said, "What did you do with the German occupiers? You fought until you eliminated them." For more than 2 million people still trapped in Gaza amid the war, nowhere seems to. Okay, I think I got what I got from it. So basically, Ishmael over there, they said they gonna turn it up. They said they ain't gonna stop. They said they ain't gonna stop. And then you got the 48ers saying no ceasefire. So it's only gonna escalate from here. And we got Hezbollah about to join, it looks like. So shit's just gonna heat up from here. And tomorrow could be a big day. Because the Babylon is not gonna let the 48ers get done like that, man. They're not gonna let the least of the flock get done like that. So this is what is gonna end up happening. Yeah, it's right here. Verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh Shemiah Shai that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, and surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Verse 46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cries heard among the nations, as well as these other Edomite run countries like Germany, for example, sent troops over there. They're going to get more involved, but it's going to be for their downfall. Jeremiah 49:20, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Notice how it says the same thing. Verse 21, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry their noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Even though the nukes is going to hit Babylon, well, you're going to have other cities that get hit by nukes, but it's not going to be like Babylon. It's not going to be wiped off the face of the earth like Babylon and like them 48ers, like the Amalekites in our land. They're going to be wiped out. And Babylon is going to be wiped out and never be rebuilt. Wait, hey, Esau is gonna get involved. NATO and Babylon and NATO countries are gonna get involved eventually, cause Babylon, and they're gonna order a draft, man, cause Babylon, they ain't got the right amount of troops. They ain't got, and their troops are not nearly in shape as they were before. But you're gonna have a lot of people that refuse to go, man. They are born to fight. Let me get that. Jeremiah 51:30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight, they have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed, they became as women. They have burnt their dwelling places. Her bars are broken. So Babylon is through, man. These Gen Zers ain't willing to fight, man. These Gen Zers ain't willing to fight. And hardly anyone fits the standards, so they're just going to be drafting a bunch of people that ain't fit and trying to make them fit quick as fuck. Because they're going to be losing a lot of men. Because once the U.S. gets involved, Iran's going to get directly involved. And then who defends Iran? Russia. Let me get that. Second Ezra, chapter 13. Yeah, and Turkey too. Russia and Turkey. Second Ezra, chapter 13. Verse, where am I going to start? It's actually 15, Salakia. Verse 28. Behold, a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east. Verse 29. When the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they would cheer them with me fear and tremble. Oh, fuck. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath, Salaki, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Verse 31. Then shall the dragons have the upper hand in the land of the Assyrians. Modern day is America. Verse 31. Then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves conspiring together in great power to persecute them. Verse 32. And these shall be troubled and keep silence to their power and shall flee. Verse 33. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their hosts shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Yeah, and that's going to be the start of World War III, as you can see. And Russia is going to back up Slovakia. Russia is going to back up Iran. Russia is the land of Magog. Ezekiel 38, verse 1. And the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai came to me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Verse 3, and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Persia, that's Iran today. Verse 6, Gomer, that's Turkey, and all of his bands, the house of Togarmah, the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And Russia is going to be a guard unto these Ishmaelites. Let me see this real quick. Okay, that ain't official statement from the Islamic resistance. Let me get this real quick too. Official resistance from the Islamic Republic. Statement from the Islamic resistance of Iraq. Text in support of our people in Gaza in response to the massacres committed by the usurping entity against Palestinian civilians, including children, women, and the elderly. The Mujahideen of the Islamic resistance in Iraq targeted at dawn today a vital target for the Zionist entity on the coast of the Dead Sea. The Islamic resistance confirms that it will continue to destroy enemy strongholds. So shit is heating up, like I said. I mean, Slovakia for clicking on that. That's just like the comment section for the Battlefield research, but I don't usually be on it because it's usually a bunch of Edomites. But ain't no Jakes on there and shit. Why would I be on there? Except for sometimes there's info that I can get from it. But basically, yeah, tomorrow could go down. Tomorrow could be the beginning of sorrows for real. Matthew 24 and 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Verse 8. Let me get that third woe scripture. Revelation 11, verse 14, I think. Yep, I guessed it. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And it's coming quickly, you could see. The third woe, that's World War III. The second woe, that was World War II. The first woe, that was World War One. The third woe, World War III, is coming soon. Also, you could tell by that it is how another way you could tell is that shit is the Euphrates is drying up, as I had brought out. I think I brought out before that the Euphrates is drying up. Revelation 16 and 12, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Verse 13, and I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. Verse 14, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day, that great day of the Most High Yahweh Almighty. Verse 15, behold, and those unclean spirits like frogs is the enchantments, the psyops that are gonna be pushed by these devils to justify going to war. Verse 15, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Verse 16, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, which is Harmageddon, Mount of the troops. Mount of the troops. Verse 17, and the seventh angel poured out his vial unto the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, it is done. Verse 18, and there was voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not seen since men were upon the earth, so mighty earthquake and so great. Verse 19, and the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon, and that earthquake was caused by the nukes. And great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High Power Yahweh, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Verse 20, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. Verse 21, and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, talking about them nukes. And men blasphemed the Most High Power Yahweh because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceedingly great. And something else that I want to go into. I ain't done yet. Oh yeah, Halloween is pagan. If you celebrated Halloween, you know, yesterday you was going off. I didn't want to go into this, but I just found it, so I thought I might as well bring it out. You know, yeah, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, to put and light, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, sweet for bitter. Isaiah 5 and 20. 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of Yahweh and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be taker of Yahweh's cup table and the table of devils. Verse 20 before it say, but I say the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice the devils. Demons is what it means. The word there is for demons. And not to power Yahweh. No, not that you have fellowship with demons. Say devils, but it's demonios. Demonium in Greek. Daemonian. It says daemonian in the Greek. When you look in the Greek. Yo, Leviticus 19 and 31 regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh, your power. What is Halloween all about? Witches and wizards, right? And Deuteronomy 18 and 9, when thou come into the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. And yeah, for my northern kingdom, this not mentioned on here, but it goes along with it. The Day of the Dead, that's pagan. Let me get that's going off. Pagan roots. Let me see. They tell you, man. Okay, what I can get from this is since they have a friend us, I know about it. Cause growing up in San Antonio and growing up around Northern Kingdom, well, my family didn't celebrate it, but even though my mom is Northern Kingdom, my family didn't celebrate it. But I grew up around Northern Kingdom, grew up in San Antonio, so I know about it. And they have ofrendas and shit, which is off like offerings to the dead people. Let me just get this real quick. This cuts it. There's scriptures about worshiping the dead, I believe. Yes, praying to the dead. Let me see if I could find some. Well, that's idol worship, anyways. That's idol worship, even if it's not mentioned specifically. That's just idol worship. That's about graven images. This is like impromptu, so that's why. You pray to something you worship, right? And I would be, they would say that it's about honoring the dead, but that's what they would say. But To have a day that's dedicated to them where you offer offerings to them, yeah. Let me get up. Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow. Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow thyself to them, nor serve them. For I am Yahweh thy power, am a jealous God, visiting just power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers among the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, which proves reincarnation, by the way. Verse 6, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So you're not supposed to worship any other any other uh, any other thou shalt have any, no other gods before me. Let me see if I could find an article on this shit though. This was some that is something that's big among Issachar, which is these so-called Mexicans. The roots of the Day of the Dead is celebrated in contemporary Mexico upon and among those of Mexican heritage in the United States around the world. Go back some 3,000 years to the rituals honoring the dead in pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. The Aztecs and other Nahua people, which is Issachar people living in what is now Slovakia. I keep getting calls. Let me just do this. That shit annoying. Interruptions. The Aztecs and other Nahua people living in what is now Central America held a cyclical view of the universe and saw death as an integral, ever present part of life. Okay. Upon dying, a person was believed to travel to Chinu Mictlan, the land of the dead. Only after getting through several nine challenging levels, a journey of several years, could the person's soul finally reach Mictlan, the final resting place. And all rituals honoring the dead, traditionally held in August, family members provided food, water, and tools to aid the deceased in this difficult journey. This inspired the contemporary Day of the Dead practice, in which people leave food or other offerings on their loved ones' graves, or set them out on makeshift altars called ofrendas in their homes. Okay, so basically, okay, it's going off because when you die, they kind of like did their own thing. They started doing their own thing. The Northern Kingdom started doing their own thing in the land. That's why, and eventually they was going off so much. That's why Yahweh Shem Shai sent the sword, Esau, after the Northern Kingdom. Joel 3. Now, Job 3, Salakia. Job 3. The fuck was that? Job 3, KJV. I'm gonna go to the part right here. Verse 13. For now I should have lain still and been quiet. I should have slept, and I had been at rest. Verse 14. With kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves. Verse 15. There were princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Verse 16. Or as an hidden untimely birth, I had not been, his influence which never saw light. Verse 17. Dare the wicked cease from troubling, dare the weary be at rest. Verse 18. Dare the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. Verse 19. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. So this is where everybody goes after they die, and then they come back to the earth. As spoken about. See how it all ties in? Ecclesiastes 3 KJV. Yo, we're going to start at verse 15. That which is now and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High Yahweh required that which is past. Verse 16. And moreover I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. Verse 17. I said in mine heart, the Most High Power Yahweh shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. Verse 18. I said in mine heart concerning this. So, where is the place of judgment? Under the sun. Verse 18. I said in mine heart, where is your soul goes? And go into that. I said in my heart concerning the state of the sons of man, that the Most High Power Yahweh might manifest them, that they might see them, they themselves are beasts. So where's your soul go when you die? When you die, I'm going into it. Verse 19. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them. As one died, so died the other. Yeah, they have one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. Verse 20. All go to one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Verse 21. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that go downward to the earth? So there you go. And there you have it. The place of judgment is on earth. So what's this about them having this great journey where they go of several days until they get to the final resting place? That shit going off. So yeah, it's going off. Let me see this. Communicating with the dead. That's off too. People may say it's just a fun holiday for the kids, but that's what you say about Halloween. What you say about so-called Christmas. That's what you say about Thanksgiving. Can't make that excuse every time. In the way you're communicating with the dead. In the way. Regard Leviticus 19 and we're offering them like all that shit on those ofrendas. You communicating with the dead in a way. In a way. Leviticus 19 and 31 are offerings. They're offerings. It literally means offerings. So yeah. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I'm Yahweh your power. Isaiah 8 and 19. When they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and mutter, should not people seek unto their power Yahweh for the living to the dead? This one right here. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter or a witch. Verse 11, or a charmer or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard or a necromancer. Verse 12, for all that do these things are an abomination to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Because of these abominations, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, thy power, doth drive them out from before thee. Salakia. Okay, sometimes this site go off on which scriptures that apply to it, but I can get this one. Leviticus 20 and 27. A man also a woman that hath a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall be surely be put to death. They shall stone him with stones, their blood shall be upon him. And what did King Saul do? What did King Saul do? Consult a medium, right? He was going off. It was because Yahweh Shem Yahushai cut him off. But still, he just added sin into sin. One Samuel 28, verse 6. And when Saul inquired of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets. Verse 7. Then said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said unto him, behold, there is a woman that hath a familiar spirit at Endor. Verse 8. And Saul disguised himself and went on other raiment, and he went and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night, and he said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring him up, whom I shall name unto thee. Verse 9. And the woman said unto him, behold, thou knowest Saul, what Saul hath done, how he hath cut off those who have familiar spirits and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life to cause me to die? Verse 10. And Saul swore to her by Yahweh, saying, as Yahweh liveth, there shall no punishment happen to thee for this thing. Going off. Verse 11. And said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, bring me up Samuel. And she was actually able to bring him up, but it doesn't always happen that way. Because you're doing it through the left-hand side. Verse 12. And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice, and the woman spoke to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me, for thou art Saul? Verse 13. And the king said unto her, be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw God as ascending out of the earth. Verse 14. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, an old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stood with his face to the ground and bowed himself. Verse 15. And Samuel said to Saul, why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and the Most High Power Yahweh is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophets nor by dreams. Neither therefore have I called thee, that thou mayest make known unto me what I shall do. Verse 16. Then said Samuel, wherefore then dost thou ask of me, seeing Yahweh is departed from thee, and has become thine enemy? Verse 17. And Yahweh done unto him as he spake by me, for Yahweh hath rent the kingdom out of thine hand, and given it to thy neighbor, even to David. Verse 18. Because thou hast obeyed, thou obeyest not the voice of Yahweh, nor executed his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Therefore hath Yahweh done this thing unto thee this day. Verse 19. Moreover, Yahweh will also deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines. Tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. Yahweh shall also deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. Verse 20. Then Saul fell straightway along the earth, and was so afraid because of the words of Samuel. There was no strength in him, for he had eaten no bread all the day nor the night. But basically, he ended up consulting a witch. He consulted a witch. And shut up. They're gonna say, it doesn't mean that, man. It doesn't mean that, man. Yeah, it does. Exodus 22 and 18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. But instead he consulted one. Well, with that, let me see if I can get anything else. But I think I'm done. I think it's time to wrap it up. You're not supposed to consult. You're not supposed to try to communicate with the dead and all that. That's off. Cause usually, even if you was to try to consult a witch to to try to get to try to communicate with a dead person, usually 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 that doesn't happen. You're not able to communicate with them, but because the Most High Yahweh wanted it to happen, it happened in the case of Saul and Samuel. But because he allowed it. But yeah, man, y'all going off. Yeah, the gates of heaven are open at midnight on October 31st, and the spirits of children can join their families for 24 hours. The spirits of adults can do the same on November 2nd. It's going the fuck off. But anyways, yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. Got this video.
I want to make clear Israel's position regarding a ceasefire. Just as the United States would not agree to a ceasefire after the bombing of Pearl Harbor or after the terrorist attack of 9/11.
Pearl Harbor was known about. 9/11 was a false flag. This was known about, and probably even planned by these devils. They plan to have them Hamas, their Hamas people do that because they control. They fund. They created Hamas. Who controls the money to them, right? They created Hamas and they continue to fund them up to, I believe, 2014, 2019 even, 2019, 2019, actually.
Israel will not agree to a cessation of hostilities with Hamas after the horrific attacks of October 7th. Calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas, to surrender to terrorism, to surrender to barbarism. That will not happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bible says that there is a time for peace and a time for war. This is a time for war.
He has the nerve to quote the scriptures after allowing mold parades in the land. Um, what else? Oral circumcision, kosher pork. Has a nerve. Matter of fact, let me get that. Verse 16. Psalms 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked, Most High Yahweh declareth, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take thy covenant in my mouth. Verse 17, seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. Verse 18, when thou sawest a thief, and thou consentest with them, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Verse 19, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Verse 20, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thy own mother's son, talking about Jacob, which is you so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Israelite foreigners, looking like the speckled birds. Well, of the speckled bird variety. Looking like these other nations, right? Verse 21, these things hast thou done, and kept silence. Thou thoughtest that all was together such as one as thyself. But I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes, and that's what's going on right now. But yeah, we'll play the rest of this video.
Time for war. This is a time for war, a war for our common future. Today we draw a line between the forces of civilization and the forces of barbarism. It is a time for everyone to decide where they stand. Israel will stand against the forces of barbarism until victory. I hope and pray that civilized nations everywhere will back this fight, because Israel's fight is your fight. Because
civilized nations, they ain't got no room to talk, man. But yeah.
If Hamas and Iran's axis of evil win, you will be their next target. That's why Israel's victory will be.
That's what Zelensky said. Oh, if Putin wins here, oh, y'all gonna be the next target. You notice they always use the same language.
Your victory. But make no mistake, regardless of who stands with Israel, Israel will fight until this battle is won, and Israel will prevail. May God bless Israel, and may God bless all those who stand with Israel.
So as you can see, ain't gonna be no ceasefire. But with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. Shalom. Oh, Abababal, that's a Babylon. Abadla Adawamium, that to these Edomites. Abadla Gawayim, that to these other nations. And Abadla Ayamnawa, that to the rest of our enemies. The rest of our enemies being 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners of the speckled bird variety, looking like the other nations. 2/3 of y'all here in Babylon are going to be destroyed as well. And Shalom. Oh, and as well as you rebellious Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth. Shalom, stay strong, Abba Wa, and Yashar Allah forever. Shalom.